Hello. Okay, I am here. I sorry about that, y'all. I went to this event this morning at uh the top of a tower in Chicago, and it just took me a little bit to get back. But I'm here. Hello. Thanks for being here. Thanks for waiting. Let the folks in my community know that I am here live, so that people can come and watch and hang out and ask questions. My name is Libryia Jones. I am the founder of Quick Commuting, which is a company dedicated to helping you find and land remote work so that you can do great work from anywhere and show up in life the way that you choose. And to do that, we provide a lot of resources and information for folks. We have a free guide on our website, a free guide for how to find and land remote work, 4 ways to find and land remote work. Hi, Tiffany. Hi, Martisha. Hi, Shonda. We also have a course, and then we have an academy as well, um, that teaches people. So we do coaching, we do resume reviews, we do LinkedIn reviews, and all kinds of cool stuff. So that is me, and that is what I do. And then once a month, I come here on YouTube to, I'm trying to find a way to share this with folks. Give me just a second. I, once a month, I come here on YouTube to share this, answer questions for folks that slide up in my DMs on Instagram and try to get me to coach them in my DMs, which I cannot do. So this is open to the public, but I do this once a week in the academy for our actual academy members. We get on a call once a week, and I answer questions and talk them through, um, the roadblocks that they're having and the challenges they're having. So I'm here to talk to you. What are you guys working through? What do you need help with? What can I answer for you? Or if you need a pep talk, I'm good for that too. I used to be a cheerleader, so really good at cheerleading. If you guys need that as well, what questions do you have for me? Just type them in the comments and I will answer. Let me let the Academy members know that I'm here, and folks on Facebook know that I'm here as well. Last week in my coaching class, we had someone who recently got an interview, and so we spent a good portion of that Q&A talking through her interview and how she felt like she did and stuff like that. And um, one of the things that I find is that you guys are really hard on yourselves on interviews. You guys are so hard on yourself when you're interviewing. And if you say I don't think I did that well, and then I start asking you questions, I'm like, you did everything you were supposed to do. Um, and then I also feel like people just kind of approach interviewing in a way that puts them in a position to be nervous, to be afraid, because you don't feel like you're in a power position, right? You feel like you're in an interview hoping to be chosen, hoping to be picked, and almost like asking for something. And truly, it's a conversation between two parties. They have a problem and they think you have the solution. That's why they invited you to interview. And so, really, it's a conversation between two parties. And one of the best ways to address being nervous about an interview is to be prepared. So you go into the interview, before you go into the interview, you read through the job description, you read up on the company, and you start asking yourself interview questions, or you ask someone around you to ask interview questions so that you can be prepared in that interview. And I'm telling you, like, being prepared really, really does help calm the nervousness. LaShonda said, I am trying to find the best way to transition from nursing to more of remote work in some way. I've been a nurse a long time and have a JD that I haven't put to use. That's an interesting combination. So you're a lawyer and a nurse? Is that what you're saying? Um, so I'll say this, there are nursing positions that are remote as well. Have you ever looked at positions for nurses that are remote? Telehealth is a huge industry right now. Um, I assume you're saying yes to the JD, to the lawyer nurse. That's pretty cool combination. But there are companies that hire nurses to do casework, to do patient advocacy. There's a company. So here's what I'm going to tell you to do. If you want to stay in nursing, that is possible. It's possible to stay in nursing and be remote. If you go to remote.co, there is actually, here, let me share my screen and show you what I'm talking about. That way I don't have to describe it to you or anything. I can just show it to you. I'm going to share my screen. Let me just bear with me for just a second. Share screen. I'm going to share a specific tab. I just opened it. Remote.co. Remote.co is like one of my favorite little websites to find remote jobs because it's free and it's categorized really well. So if you go to scroll down and see remote healthcare jobs right here, these are remote jobs in healthcare, and a lot of times they need nurses. Nurse inpatient care management, nurse with United Health Group, a nursing auditor. So they need people with nursing backgrounds. Teladoc needs a nurse practitioner, included health nurse practitioner. So there's possibilities to do nursing and stuff and do it remotely as well. So you could consider that. And then same thing for your JD as well. I have a friend, my best friend of 4 years. We've been friends since we were 5 years old, and we are both turning 46. Well, I'm turning 46. She'll be 46 in next year. So my best friend of 40 years, she is an attorney, and she's been working remotely, since just almost as long as I have. So I've been working remotely for like 13 years off and on. She's been doing it for, I'd say, maybe 9 years or longer. She's done it every way an attorney can do it, pretty much. So she has worked for, there are companies where big law firms are overworked, and so they need other people to help them out with cases and research and writing documents and things like that. And so they will contract out work. So she's done that. She and I did this long interview a long time ago where we talked about her remote work and how she's worked remotely in so many ways. She's done that. And then she has also kind of like been a independent attorney and worked with companies like Rocket Lawyer, and Rocket Lawyer is Black owned, just so you guys know. Rocket Lawyer and LegalZoom will funnel leads to attorneys as well. And then a third way that she has worked remotely is teaching law classes at online schools. She's been doing that that's the thing that she's done the longest. She's been doing that for a while. I think she's actually on her way to being a tenured professor at an online school. She teaches at 2 online universities. She teaches law. So you've got options, Shonda, if you want to utilize the education that you already have. If you want to utilize nursing and utilize your JD, those are options for you. If you want to transition into something that you've never done before, then there's also options to do that, right? Because every job has transferable skills that you can identify and take into new roles. And then you can always, take a boot camp, take some classes if you want to do something else. But I feel like both nursing and your JD were extensive certifications to get. And so you may not want to go back and get new certifications. Chai says, I'm a hybrid employee. However, I've managed to work completely remotely from home for the past few months. I asked HR about a work from anywhere policy, and she said that due to tax reasons, we can't. Yeah, that's something that happens, right? So a lot of companies don't realize, a lot of people, I meant to say, don't realize that there are real reasons why companies can't let you work from anywhere for extended periods of time. And so I'm going to tell you 2 things, Chai. Let's first address the fact that, yes, working remotely does not mean work from anywhere for a number of reasons, taxes being one of those reasons. Sometimes companies cannot allow you to work from other countries because of the tax implications of that. They may not have the resources to figure out the tax situation. The second reason is labor laws. The third reason is healthcare. Fourth reason is intellectual property laws. And so different countries have different laws that if your company allows you to work there, they are now subject to, right? So you're exposing your company to the laws and governance of another country. And so sometimes they can't let you do that. However, comma, when you're talking to HR and you're talking about a work from anywhere policy, you need to be clear about what your goal is. Okay. So, like, my company wouldn't let me live somewhere else, but they would be okay with me working from somewhere else for a couple of weeks or a month. So, is your goal to move somewhere else, or is your goal to say, well, I would love to go and work from Mexico for 2 weeks. Is that possible? And so maybe you need to get that level of clarification with your company about, well, I'm not going to be there long enough for there to be tax implications. If you're going to be there for 2 weeks or a month, there are no tax implications. And make sure that it's clear that you're not planning to change the um, your residence location, right? Where you are a permanent residence. So my residency is in the state of Florida. I actually changed my residency. So if your company, just a quick tip, if your company lets you work from anywhere in the US and you can give them your work location, and you know someone that you have a family member that lives in a state that does not have income taxes, that is an instant raise. So I was living in Oklahoma. They have state income taxes. And then we were talking about what is our stated home location at work. And what is our stated location at work? And I was like, oh, I can tell you that. So I actually changed it to Florida and ended up giving myself like a $200 per pay period raise, $200 a month raise, just because I wasn't paying income taxes. But 3 months might make you susceptible to tax implications. I'm not sure, because I am not a tax professional, but maybe there's some compromise that you can make there, right? So maybe if there's tax implications for you being there for 3 months, maybe consider finding out if there are any implications if you're there for a few weeks or a month at a time. Um, yeah, I would maybe try to open that conversation and maybe see if there's a champion who can help you lead that conversation with HR. So if you have someone who is what I consider a champion, and what I mean by that is someone who has influence and who can speak on your behalf, and help push the needle along for what you're trying to get, and who understands and is willing to fight for you. So if you're able to have that conversation with someone, maybe there's a happy medium there. So consider that. And I'd also say kind of ask questions, right? So ask the question, at what point do tax implications come into play, right? Because that's an easy answer for HR to give. Just, oh, taxes are why we can't do this, right? But like, how long would I need to be there for taxes to be an issue? Because the truth is, and it depends on where you are as well, right? Because different countries have different requirements. Um, and then if it's just not aligned with what you want for your life, then of course you can consider leaving, you know? Is working for yourself the only way to realistically live abroad? Nope. There's a lot of US companies that don't care where you work from. I actually share them on a regular basis on Instagram and in our newsletter. But no, there's a lot of companies that don't care. There are companies that don't care where you work from. Um, so no, freelancing is not the only way to realistically live abroad, but it is a great way to do it because you have complete control over your work schedule and your work location. It is an excellent way to do that. If you want to consider doing that. Good morning, Rosetta. Good morning, Julia. But you're asking great questions. So really, I'd say a couple of things that you should probably do is, open up that conversation and start to ask different questions. Like, well, when do tax implications become an issue? And then consider if this is a place that you want to remain at. And if you want to start looking for uh, places that are more open to, you know, hiring people from anywhere. What else y'all got? It's a great question, great conversation. Hi, how are you? Yeah, The company that I work for, it's a consulting company. So typically when we work, even if I go work in the state of New York for, but it's, if it's for a client, I typically have to put my location, because then they have to charge taxes based on where we're working. But for the most part, if I go, yeah, as long as my residency is still the US, then I have no issues, but I can go somewhere for, a month or so and come on back. That's a non-issue. Now, there are companies as well that it sounds like your company would not necessarily be open to this, because, like you said, she reminded you that you're a hybrid employee, which, come on, shade. There are companies that help other companies navigate those issues and concerns so that they can allow their employees to work from anywhere. Company and so if you ever want to, or if you are in HR and you're able to kind of affect change in a way that helps them attract more, it helps your company attract more talent. So anybody in HR, I'm going to give you some things to like bring up as proposals. One is globalization partners. Another is remote, Oyster HR, and there's another one Deal, I think DEEL. Those companies, I'll type those. Those companies help enable organizations to navigate all of the concerns that they would have around hiring people from anywhere. So what happens is those companies become an employer of record. So on your paychecks, let's say that you work for, let me throw out a name everybody's heard of. Let's say you work for Netflix, right? On your paycheck, it wouldn't say that you work for Netflix. It would say that you work for Globalization Partners, because they become your employer of record and they handle all of the taxes and labor laws and healthcare and all that other stuff. And Netflix just pays them, right? To manage all of that. So if you're in HR or you have a relationship with someone in HR and this is something that you want your company to consider, I would say introduce them to some of these companies that help facilitate that. Globalization partners. The other thing I would say is go work for those companies, because if they are facilitating, helping organizations hire people from everywhere, you best believe that they also hire people to work from anywhere as well. Globalization partners, remote, Oyster, HR, and Deal. I think it's Deal. Those are the companies that do that. And they have to hire people too, right? So they have employees as well. Oh, I don't like the way that looks. That comment looked. It's all like one word. That's one. Remote is another. Oyster HR and Deal. Here's what I would tell you to do. Like, if you're going to be strategic about this, those are companies you could go look at to work for. But here's another thing you could do. Go look at those companies and see who their clients are, right? Because whoever their clients are companies that also want to allow people to work from anywhere. So a lot of times these companies will put, their clients on their website, or they'll make announcements on LinkedIn that they are now partnering with such and such company. So go see who their clients are. Go see who is, hiring these companies to facilitate their ability to allow people to work from anywhere. Cool. What else y'all got? What other questions do you guys have for me today about working remotely? I will say, I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with y'all. The job market sucks right now. Like, it's just not great. I said this at the beginning of the year. I said it was going to be a really slow year for the job market. Not saying that there aren't jobs. There are jobs out there, so don't want to discourage anybody from looking or applying. It's just the job market is just very, very slow right now. It's slower than it's been in years. And not just for remote work. The job market in general the labor market in general is really slow right now. So when you find yourself not getting selected or not getting interviews or getting ghosted, don't take it personal. It's not personal. The job market is really slow right now. And something that I'm seeing a lot of are job postings that are really marketing tools disguised as jobs. Let me give you an example. I saw a job posting that was for a you're welcome. I did predict the job market would be slow. I said it at the beginning of the year. I think it's going to start opening up late in the year. I think folks are not sure what the economy is about to do, especially as election year. Like we just don't know how things are going to shake out. I think we'll start to see things speed up and open up closer to the end of the year. But I am seeing a lot of job postings that are really marketing tools disguised as job postings. And here is my example. I saw a job posting for a chief operating officer. Yes, a COO, which is something I would love to be. So I was like, let me look at this. Let me look into this job. Let me apply for it. It looked really interesting. It was for a beauty tech company. Yeah, it was a beauty tech company. And they were kind of like getting started and looking for a COO. And I was like, hey, I love a startup. Let's do this. Apply for the job. And I get an email that says, we want you to complete your application. Right. Because I think the only option was like LinkedIn Easy Apply was the only option. And I got an email that said, we want you to complete your application. Click this link to finish your application. And I clicked the link and it takes me to this app that is for um, people who want side hustles and side gigs. It's a side hustle app. And they were trying to get me to sign up for this app and pay money to sign up for the app. And I was like, why am I signing up for this app and paying to sign up for this app to apply for this job? So really what it was they posted this job and it is a pipeline and funnel. It's almost like a lead magnet to get people to go and sign up for this side hustle site. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a paid site for people to get jobs. I mean, that's what Flex Jobs is. That's what Upwork does as well. Fiverr. I don't know if Fiverr charges you. I think Upwork does charge freelancers a little bit of money to apply for contracts and proposals and stuff on there. So there's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong is you baiting someone into it by posting a job posting, right? And not being clear up front that this posting is on this paid site, right? You have to pay on this site to get access to this job posting. And Flex Jobs will tell you that straight up front. Like if you go to a job posting on Flex Jobs, it will say it at the bottom of the job posting. And so it just felt shady. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. And what's more is when I decided to look more into the company, I couldn't find any information about it. So it felt like a fake job posting. Like I couldn't find anything. I saw one thing and it was the CEO, but I couldn't find their website. I couldn't find anything more about her. No, I've never heard of Sensora, but that doesn't mean it's not a real company. I mean, there's billions of companies in the world. So I have not heard of all of them. But if your question is about whether or not it's a real company, there's some things that you can do to do background checks on companies. So one thing that I would say is go to the company's LinkedIn page, right? And see like who works there. Let's do that example for let me stop sharing that screen for the company what was the name of the company? I'm going to try to do this for the company. This is what I should have done before I even applied though. Let's do this. Let's do this exercise. So one thing you can do is go to the company's LinkedIn page and see who their employees are. And then you can also reach out to their employees as well and just be like, hey, I'm so interested in, I'm interested in your company. I see there's an open position. I'd love to ask you if you enjoy working there, something like that, right? But this company was named Finn. I think this was the name of it. That wasn't it. It was a different logo. Oh, there it is. There it is. It was this company. It was this. And then you can click on, so you can go to the company's website, right? And then you can click on people and see who works there. And it looks like they have some employees. None of these people were there when I first went to it. But what's weird is like a lot of them don't have, so many of them don't have profile photos, right? So this just doesn't feels a little sketch. Like that's That's giving sketch just a little bit because, again, why are so many people? Because if you go to a reputable company, like let's go to Salesforce. Salesforce is a well-known company. If you go to their page and you click on their people, if my internet wants to work, look at all these photos. I mean, you got a couple that aren't, but like there's so many that are. And so it was just a little shady, a little weird. So that's one thing you can do. You can just go to their page on LinkedIn, and then you can reach out to some of the people that work there and just ask them about working there. That's one way you can figure out if a company is real. Another way is you can go to Glassdoor and do a search on the company. What happens on Glassdoor is people that have worked there, but also people who have interviewed there will post reviews. And so they'll talk about what the interview was like, what their interview process was like, what their hiring process was like. So that's another place that you can go. Another place that you can go is do actual Google reviews, right? Just do some Google reviews and Better Business Bureau reviews as if you were going to be a customer. And if you see a whole lot of complaints about a company and people saying it's a scam, it's probably a scam, right? So I've never heard of Sensora, but I wouldn't expect me to have heard of every company out there. Like that's, yeah, I've heard of like major tech companies and major retail companies, but I haven't heard of every company. But yeah, do a background check on them. Do a background check on them. They're gonna do one on you. I do have a video on my YouTube channel that breaks down like how to tell if a job is a scam. So, there are definitely scammers out there. And I don't know about you guys, but lately I've been getting a lot of text messages from people saying that they um, saw my resume and they wanted to offer me a job or something like that. And it's just been weird. It's been a little bit weird. But a few things that you could consider is when you're getting these emails, and what is the email address, right? Because a recruiter is not going to email you from Hotmail. They just not going to do that. The other thing is if someone is asking you for your social security number, and you don't actually work there, because they shouldn't need your social security number until after you're hired, right? If someone is asking to send you a check, I'm going to send you a check so you can get your equipment. Nobody does that in who is writing checks in 2024? Like, why? Ain't nobody writing you no check. Stop playing. Stop playing. Ain't nobody writing you no check. I've seen a few people say, well, they said they were going to send me a check to buy my equipment. No, they're not. They're not doing that. Mm-mm. Typically, if a company is you need equipment, they're going to either send you equipment or they're going to tell you what their reimbursement policy is. They're going to tell you, either we are going to put this money into your paycheck, and they usually will give you the money the same exact way that they're going to pay you every month or every 2 weeks or however you get paid. So if it's direct deposit, then they will pay you direct deposit to get your equipment. Or some companies will give you a corporate credit card. My company, when I buy equipment, so they sent me my computer, but when I need things like a monitor or a new mouse, I pay for it and then I just submit a reimbursement request. Yeah, so child, some people be shady. I'm gonna tell you guys, I posted this on Instagram a few weeks ago. This one company reached out to me. Yep. This one company reached out to me and was like, hey, I saw your resume and thought you would be a really good fit for a COO position at this client that we have. Would you mind shooting over your resume? And I was like, hey, I like that. Let's do it. Let me send you my resume. So I sent the resume and she was like, I'm a recruiter, blah, 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 blah. Sent the resume. She responds and was like, looking at your resume, you're a fit, but your resume is not ATS friendly. Can you click this link and, get an ATS friendly resume? I'm like, first of all, my resume is ATS friendly. I literally teach people how to make ATS friendly resumes. Stop playing with me. Don't come for me, ma'am. Secondly, The reason a resume is supposed to be ATS friendly is so that it can get through the applicant tracking system to a recruiter. I am already talking to a recruiter. Why would I need my resume to be anything different than what it is? You said you're the recruiter. Like, what are you talking about? And because I do this, as my business, I'm like, let me investigate further. So I click the link. It takes you to a website where you can pay for a resume, an ATS friendly resume template. Why are you out here scamming? Why are you out here scamming people? Like, it's so frustrating because there are people out here who really need jobs and you playing games. Like, you reached out to me saying that you saw my profile on LinkedIn and thought I was a good fit for a role and asked me to send you my resume. And then you turned around and tried to sell me something. Like, that's just not cool. It's just not cool. Let's talk about it with Mara. Said, you gave me an idea for my freelancing business. Share. Tell us what this idea is. Somebody said they're catfishing. Chai said they're catfishing existing businesses. When I was job hunting, I realized that there were fake job posts pretending to be legit companies that already exist. Yeah. So and I have seen some like obscure job boards where it's a job posting and then it has that click here button and you click here and takes you to some weird place. Um, yeah, it's just, I hate people taking advantage of folks that like need jobs and stuff like that. If I see a job on a third party site and it's not on the company's website, I assume it's a scam. Agreed. So typically, honestly, if I see a job posted on a job board, I usually just go to the company's website anyway. Now, I will say some companies don't have their own um, career page, and so they do rely on job boards for that. And so sometimes you're not going to see it, but that is not a bad thing to consider when you're talking about looking at potential scams. I used to work in fraud, so I think a lot of stuff is a scam. Yeah, it's tough. Like when you're in fraud and you're in risk management and you work in cybersecurity, like you get real what is the word? You get real skeptical, right? Uh, I'm going to use my customer service skills to provide email, live chat, and social media support for small businesses. Um, oh, yeah, yeah, because I talk about this a lot. I talk about this often. I tell people like folks need help with customer service. Like if it were me, I'd be down. I'd be doing exactly this, like figuring out how to provide um, email support, customer service support for small businesses because a lot of them are overwhelmed. And Zoho is a great tool to learn. If you don't know, Zoho is basically a database tool, and it's super customizable. So you could literally create databases from scratch for organizations and help them build out a whole lot of workflows and CRM systems and all kinds of stuff. Zoho is really cool. I used to use it back in the day. I actually started learning Zoho on my own because I was using it to set up our databases for my Wander Year. When I took a group of people around the world for a year, I was building databases to manage that whole thing. Um, it is a really cool tool. And I'm going to tell you, Mara, if you go on Fiverr or you go on Upwork and you just search for Zoho, a lot of people are looking for Zoho experts as well. Another tool that I think would be great for freelancers to learn is Zapier. Zapier or one of its competitors. Zapier is a tool that allows people to automate things, to automate a lot of things. And it's so easy to do. Excuse me, it's so easy to do. You don't have to be a developer or coder. I've taught myself how to do all of the stuff on Zapier. You can watch videos. They have training videos on it. But because so many business owners and large companies use this stuff too, because so many companies don't have the bandwidth or even the interest to learn how to do this stuff, they want to just pay somebody else to do it. So Zoho is a great one. Learning Freshdesk is another one. Freshdesk is a customer service tool where basically it's a ticketing system. So you could learn how to set that up for organizations and build out canned responses, build out workflows like SLAs, for instance. If an SLA is a service line agreement. So let's say you reach out, let's say a customer reaches out to, I don't know, Netflix to say, hey, my Netflix isn't working. It would go into a ticketing system, get assigned to a pool of customer service reps. And if someone doesn't pick it up within or respond within 24 hours, it can be escalated. But you could set that up. Someone has to set that up. And then people can set up canned responses. So if you reached out to Netflix customer service and said, I need to cancel my membership, the word cancel can be a trigger word that automatically sends them an email showing them the cancellation policy and how to do it with a link on how to do it. So if you wanted to go and learn how to use Freshdesk, and Freshdesk is owned by a company called Freshdesk is owned by a company called Freshworks, and they have a lot of other tools as well. I think they have a CRM also, and something else. So like if you learn that suite of tools and become an expert on that, that's something that you can offer. Like, guys, a lot of y'all think that you can't do technical stuff. You can, because you are learning to use new technical tools every single day. You know how to use YouTube, you know how to use Instagram, you know how to use Facebook, you know how to use all this stuff. Every app that you have on your phone is a software tool, is a technical tool. You can learn how to use pretty much any technical tool. And if you start doing that and you spend the time learning, you can create your own business. You can be a freelancer, and then you don't have to worry about somebody telling you how many days you need to be in office. You can do whatever you want. I have a master's in instructional design and many years of experience in DEI. Most recent work was remote with a company in India. Oh, that's amazing. Any suggestions on international job boards to promote as a freelancer? Good question. I don't know international job boards specifically for freelancing. I think Upwork is a great place for that. I also think you should join the VEA community, the Virtual Excellence Academy, because a lot of people in there are international and they get clients from everywhere. I'm going to give you the website. Let me see if I can find it. But there is a website called Pangian that I usually recommend for people for international remote jobs. Pangian.com, I think, is the website. I just typed it, Pangian. Okay, what was I looking for? The link for the Virtual Excellence Academy. I don't know if you can join her community without being a part of one of her students, but let's find out. She has a Facebook group, but I don't know if that Facebook group is only for people who are in her students. I've heard of Monday too, and I have to look into that one. Yeah, Monday is pretty much a project management tool. So Monday I put in the category of like ClickUp, Monday, Airtable, and stuff like that. It's been hard finding something, but I'm doing a lot of free Coursera or other upskills to enhance while I'm waiting. I think that is very smart. And that's what I told people to do at the beginning of the year. When the job market is slow, it is a really good time to start investing in learning new skills. And by investing, I don't necessarily mean money. I do mean time and attention, right? So we live in a time where, I mean, it's unprecedented, the access that we have to learning completely new things and being experts in things without having to go to college for it, right? So Coursera has free courses. They also have low-cost courses. So for people that want to transition into project management, their project management certificate, I'm going to say certificate, not certification. Their project management certificate is, I think, $39 a month. And I think it usually takes people about 6 months to get through it. And then there's all kinds of, just free courses and low-cost courses on Skillshare, on Udemy, on YouTube for free. You guys can, thank you for that, Tina. Click the like button, guys. You guys can learn so much right now, right? We live in a time where you can become an expert in a whole lot of things without having to go to college and spend, tens of thousands of dollars, or going into, $50,000 of debt to get a master's degree. You can learn so much. And then there's informal courses. Like Rosetta mentioned, she has instructional design. I have a friend who teaches people how to get into instructional design because you don't need a degree in it to do it. So yeah, you guys, we live in a time where you can learn anything, and this is a good time to do it, right? With the market being slow. And that way when the market picks up, like you've got these skills already. And not saying you should not in parallel continue to push and get the and apply for jobs. Not saying you can't still do that, but you can also be focusing on improving your skill set. I learned mini chat on YouTube this week. Yeah, I mean, that's something that people would pay someone to do. Like, there is someone right now wondering, why are all these social media influencers saying comment the word blank? Like, what is that about? And I'm going to tell you, Nirel, um, if this is my Nirel, I don't know if you saw the comments that I made in Slack a couple of days ago. A lot of us are underutilizing mini chat, right? Like, I was looking at some of the features of mini chat, and I was like, I'm literally only using it for that one thing where someone can um comment something, and then they get an inbox message. That's just one small tiny feature of mini chat. I could be using mini chat as a lead generation, just like I use my email, just like I use MailChimp, but I'm not utilizing it for that, right? So when someone comments or says something, I could basically put them in a funnel where I can send them messages, every 3 days, and say, hey, don't forget to click this link, or hey, you click the link, but here's some more information. So there's a lot of things that ManyChat does that a lot of social media people are underutilizing. And if you went to learn ManyChat, you could see who's using it, right? You could see the influencers that are using it, and then reach out to them and say, I see that you're using ManyChat. Is this the only feature that you're using? Because I can also help you set up all these other features that will give you XYZ benefit, right? Um, mhm. I love this. I love that you guys are doing this. That's so awesome. Okay, we're over 30 minutes. I stayed a little bit later because I was late. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. This has been a really great discussion. If you want to continue the discussion, feel free to join us in our free community on Facebook. Let me drop the link to that. Yes, I dropped the link to the Virtual Excellence Academy earlier. She opens membership to it just every quarter, I want to say, and she just closed it yesterday, I think. Oh no, she just opened it again. I think it's open right now to join. That's our free community. But also, if you want to join our private coaching community, where I do this conversation pretty much every week, you can go to quickcommuting.com/community and join us. You can also check out our website and our free guides on our website as well. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you guys have a great Saturday. Bye, y'all.